Hello you, welcome to Geekism and welcome back to Planet Zoo. Something a little different today. I was flicking through social media and a picture of the house from Encanto, the latest Disney movie, popped up, and for a very split second I thought, oh look, that's a really great Planet Zoo build, and then I realised it wasn't. It was just a picture of the house from Encanto, but obviously that got the cogs whirring. I thought, hey, I bet I could probably make it in Planet Zoo. You know, we've got a lot of archaeology, we've got a lot of architectural pieces now, we've got loads of foliage, and I think we could probably do a pretty solid job. So just as a bit of a palate cleanser from our regular sort of zoo content, I thought I'd give this a go. Just before we carry on, I want to say thank you to all of our new Patrons. Welcome to Matthew, Avery and Amanda, who have recently joined us over on patreon.com/geekism. It is you who really make this kind of content possible, so thank you so much. And of course, if anyone else is interested in supporting the channel that way, make sure you head on over and see what's going on over there. Otherwise, if you enjoy this video, you know the usual stuff. Give it a like, let your friends know about it, let your mom know about it, ring your mom, ring your mother, alright? We should all be ringing them. I'm going to ring my mom right now. Well, not right now because I'm recording this, but you know, I'll give her a call later. But yeah, here we go. I haven't really got much to say about this build, to be honest with you. I just had on one of my monitors the picture of the house, and on the other monitor I had the game, and on my third monitor I had songs from the film playing at the time. It's that Lin-Manuel Miranda guy. He's everywhere, right? The guy, honestly, is like shit in a field, but he's very talented. You've got to knock him. You can't knock him for it. But yeah, he's done so much this year. I didn't realize perhaps how much of the stuff that I've enjoyed content-wise recently was him. I saw another animated movie called Vivo, I think, that was pretty good. I saw In the Heights that was very good. I saw Tick Tick Boom that was very good, and this is all him. Yeah, the guy just is able to churn out stuff that's really consistent. But I will say he very much has a sound, right? Like you can really tell it's his stuff. You know, even like going from like Hamilton to Encanto, there's that sort of real similarity in a lot of the stuff he produces. But yeah, what a talented guy. Weirdly, I still think of him as Amy Santiago's brother. Like, that's from Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Like, as all this incredible stuff that he's been working on. But if you ask me what Lin-Manuel Miranda does, I would tell you that he plays Amy Santiago's brother in Brooklyn Nine-Nine. But yeah, it was really great. I love the music in it. I've been listening to a lot of sort of redos and covers and stuff of it. There's some really good like punk covers of stuff. It hasn't quite hit that kind of Let It Go-ness that we got with Frozen, but I do see a lot of stuff about We Don't Talk About Bruno, you know, loads of covers of it, memes of it, all that kind of stuff, you know, sort of musical breakdowns of it, you know, vocal coaches listening to it, that kind of stuff. I'm relatively interested in musicals, musical theatre. I used to do a lot of it when I was younger. I actually played Oliver in a production of Oliver Twist when I was younger. Or well, no, Oliver with an exclamation mark, you know, the Lionel Blart musical, and lots of other things as well. I sang in various choirs. I sang in the county choir. I sang at the Royal Albert Hall in London when I was younger. So yeah, I used to do a lot of musical based stuff. Really don't anymore, to be honest with you. Haven't sang in front of people for years now, perhaps, actually. But yeah, I used to sing a lot, and still very sort of invested in the musical theatre world. I still listen to a lot of it at home. I don't really listen to that much music full stop, but if I am going to listen to music, it's most probably going to be a musical soundtrack, or like standards. I love my standards. I love Frank Sinatra, Matt Monro, Sammy Davis Jr., all of those kind of folks, and also a lot of like swing stuff as well, so Glenn Miller, all that kind of thing. Anyway, yeah, to be honest with you, I'm waffling. I've got nothing to talk about. We're building the Encanto house. Like, it's literally that simple. One thing I did have to decide pretty early on was whether or not I was going to make this an actual sort of building, like four walls and a roof, or whether I was just going to go for more of a sort of vignette, a facade, so to speak. I ended up going for the facade in the end because I could only really find shots of the building head on, the sort of promotional material, the posters, that kind of thing. Obviously, in the movie, they do walk around. It's actually sort of like a courtyarded house, so the central area is open, and the buildings and the rooms sort of go around the outside. The problem is that it doesn't really, from what I can tell watching the movie back again, purely looking at it from an architectural point of view, it doesn't really seem like it would architecturally work within an actual space. Obviously, the rooms of all of the children of the family would not work in architectural space because they open up into, they're like TARDISes, right? That each room on the thing opens up. One of them's got a huge waterfall. One of them's covered in flowers and all that kind of thing. So obviously they were not going to be an option. But even the actual sort of standard space of the building, I just couldn't really find that many reference pictures for it. Did try, kind of like I say, watching the movie, pausing it at certain points. There's obviously that sort of very classic curved staircase in the middle that comes down to the courtyard. But yeah, I decided in the end that actually I just wanted to try and replicate the sort of the money shot, the promotional material shot of the house, and even deciding on that, I actually found like 2 or 3 different shots of the house where they look quite different. One of the buildings, it shows in one of the posters, it's very tall and thin. Another one, it's sort of longer and fatter. I think genuinely it looks like they designed a couple of different versions of the house to fit different orientations of posters. So for vertical posters, they had a vertical house, and for landscape posters or more sort of shots that would work on a monitor, that sort of classic sort of 1920 by 1080 shots, they had a slightly wider house. So yeah, I realized very quickly that I wasn't going to be able to create the full house here and have it really make that much sense. So I was quite happy to just use the forward shot here, but it was so much fun doing it, using a lot of the more sort of fanciful pieces that I don't normally use in the game, because those of you who watch my Planet Zoo content, you'll know that I try and build more sort of budget conscious and slightly more realistic, and so a lot of this sort of this facade, this sort of crown molding and all that kind of stuff doesn't really get much of a use in my building. So it is nice to be able to sort of use some of this stuff as like I say, a palette cleanser, so to speak. Had a couple of tricky bits. Stuff is very weirdly sized in this game. That's obviously something we've always suffered from in the Planet games. Some of the windows are huge, some of them are really tiny, there's very little in between. The windows was probably the thing I struggled with most here. And some of this sort of cornicing here that we're doing on this larger tower building. One of the bits that I really struggled with, actually, and it isn't really a fault of the game, it's just a weird design that they made, was having on the very tall building, there's like corner pieces of roofing that literally just sit a small corner. And that was really tricky to do. I spent a while doing it and just couldn't find a piece that worked. I don't know whether I even cut the footage out of this or not, to be honest. You might see me spending a good sort of half an hour sped into 30 seconds of trying desperately to find a piece that works for it. Kind of gave up in the end, found a little Asian roof piece that worked and fit, and there we go. But yeah, very much here, designing to style here. Those windows obviously make zero sense the way they're built. The whole point of this build was just to get that single sort of glamour shot at the front there where you could really sort of appreciate it next to the poster. But yeah, overall had a lot of fun building this. They often say who they is, I don't know. Sorry if you can hear that, by the way. There's some construction going on here today, but I don't know whether the microphone will pick it up or not. There's a guy with a jackhammer going at it. But yeah, they often say that a change is as good as a rest, and sometimes it really does help to sort of just have a go at something that you're not normally used to. I feel this is the sort of build that you would maybe see Estan Wolf have a go at. He's really great at this kind of fanciful stuff, especially in Planet Zoo. He's been killing it lately, by the way, folks. If you haven't checked him out already, he's been doing some really crazy like wizard homes and stuff. Just really using the pieces in an imaginative way. So yeah, definitely check that out. But yeah, it was definitely fun. It was definitely you know, interesting trying to have a go at something that's just a little different and a little out of my comfort zone. But yeah, we'll be getting back to some more Planet Zoo content. So if you've enjoyed this one and you're new here, maybe you have just randomly found me because you're an Encanto fan and you're watching everything you can find, you know, maybe stick around if you enjoy the sort of piece by piece building of this structure. This is the sort of stuff that we do here a lot on this channel. Any game that we find where we can be creative and sort of really, you know, build with as a palette, you know, use the game as a what's the word, as a canvas, I guess. We're all about it. So simulation, tycoon, management sort of stuff, where we can really have fun with how we make the game look. That is exactly what we're all about here at Geekism. And yeah, and this was a real sort of true test of what we were able to do with the pieces. This was probably the trickiest bit to do, was this last tower. It's just very stylized and has lots of really interesting bits of detail that were really quite tricky to find with the pieces. Here we go. I'm desperately trying to find this tiny little roof piece. There may have been an individual item that I could have sat and made roof pieces out of, but at this point it doesn't look it because this video is about 12 minutes long, but there's almost 3 days of building here, sort of on and off. This is definitely the sort of thing where I have to take breaks and sort of come back to when I get sort of creatively minded. So there's about 2 or 3 days work here as I got this one finished. So yeah, I probably could have gone slightly more detailed with the roof pieces there, but in the end I was kind of happy with how they came out. Apologies, I'll put a sort of side-by-side picture of in a moment. Apologies if any of the colours are crazy off. Regulars here will know I'm crazy colourblind. I have a dentropy deficiency, and I really struggle with colours, especially these kind of pastel-y. Oh, by the way, cherry blossom trees in the wall here to make this gorgeous foliage. How good does that look? I think I'm going to use that somewhere. I think it was probably my favourite bit of the whole build. But yeah, apologies if the colours are off. Sometimes I've been limited by the pieces I can use. Some of the pieces aren't recolorable, but most likely I'm probably just limited by the fact that my eyes are a bit broken and I don't do colour very well. So I've tried my hardest to keep the theme, to keep the style, you know, that sort of lovely pastel-y colours that they have in these Colombian houses. But yeah, lots of fun with this one, something a bit different. Hope you've enjoyed it. Please stick around if you have. Lots more coming from this game and others as well. Make sure you give us a like, all of that sort of stuff. Love yous all to bits. I'll see you in the next one. Be good.